So why do I call it a missing leadership ingredient? Well, because it's not taught in business schools, it's not taught in public policy schools, and it's not instinctual for most of us. And yet it's crucial in today's environment. Before I tell you what the missing ingredient is, I want to argue the case for why it's crucial and why it's missing. So what we're looking at here are two problem landscapes. The top one is a straightforward problem landscape, and the one below it is a complex problem landscape. And what decision scientists have concluded, based on a fair amount of research, is that when it comes to tackling complex problems, and in that complex problem landscape, groups outperform individuals. So individuals working alone on their own, even if they're very high IQ individuals, will tend to underperform, get poorer results than groups working together on the same problems. And that's probably not a surprise and certainly not a secret for most, if not all of you in this room today. Cognitive diversity has been a topic du jour for quite some time, at least a couple of decades. But what is interesting is, why does cognitive diversity work, and how is it undermined, or at least not maximized, in most team discussions? So cognitive diversity works because it generates more creativity, meaning it broadens out the solution space for a problem, and it also reduces the error rate of people's individual biases and mistakes. That's all well and good, but the problem is that left to our own devices, we tend to communicate in very unstructured, sloppy ways. So putting together a group of people that are cognitively diverse does not automatically translate into the benefits of cognitive diversity. Because if a conversation is not properly managed, you're still vulnerable to the individual biases that all of us are vulnerable to. Plus, there's an additional two problems related to group conversations, which is groupthink and group polarization. We'll talk about those a little later. The point, though, to emphasize right now is that the benefits of cognitive diversity are not automatic. They are not self-generated when groups come together for conversation. The benefits are not maximized when we're left to our own devices. So, we know complex problems are best tackled with the deep conversations that come from cognitive diversity, but we also know that the benefits of diversity are not self-generating in a typical team discussion that is unmanaged. And that is why I argue that the missing ingredient in the 21st century leadership is the ability to masterfully facilitate discussion. In fact, I argue that today's leaders need to be chief conversation facilitators. Chief conversation facilitators. So, how do you become a chief conversation facilitator? How do you become adept at facilitating discussions in order to maximize the benefits of cognitive diversity? And we're going to look at that today. But I'll jump to the chase by telling you what the most important element of strong facilitation is, and that is fostering constructive dissent or managed disagreement. In other words, the way in which a leader fosters dissent and manages disagreement among team members is the way to maximize cognitive diversity to tackle those kinds of complex problems.